Welcome to IFLYFSX. Understanding the traffic pattern around an airport is very important. By looking at the airport diagram, you will find out the altitude of the airport, in this case 926 MSL. You will also find the length and width of the airport, the runway headings, in this case runway 5. And in this case it will be a left traffic pattern. If the traffic pattern is not listed on the airport diagram, it will be a left traffic pattern. And also, if the TPA traffic pattern altitude is not listed, it will be a 1000 feet AGL, above ground level traffic pattern altitude. The ATC will always advise you to take off into the wind. We are now taking off runway 5 onto the upwing leg. We want to clear the runway and be at least 500 feet AGL before turning left into the traffic pattern. Turning left, we are entering the crosswind leg. You want to fly at least half a mile to a mile away from the upwind leg and climb to 1000 feet AGL. We are now on the downwind leg and we are cruising at 1000 feet AGL. Once we reach the abeam point on runway 5, the spot where we will land the aircraft, we will reduce the RPM and increase pitch for a good descent. Once we are at a 45-degree angle from runway 5, we will turn to the base leg. Using the flaps, pitch and correct airspeed, we will get ready for the final leg approach. On the final leg approach, we want full flaps, pitch up, and correct landing airspeed. Once we reach the abeam spot, reduce RPM, maintain the pitch, look at the horizon, and let the aircraft main wheels touch ground. Keep the front wheels up as long as possible for a safe, soft, and centered landing. Because it is a visual flight rule VFR and you are already familiar with the airport and its surroundings, we will use visual ground references for our traffic pattern. Our first reference will be to cross this road and turn left into the crosswind leg once it's passed. By the time we get to this crossroad, we will pay attention to the abeam spot. To have a good lined up with the runway, we will turn to final using this road intersection. Okay, let's take off. Mixture rich, full power. Make sure the flap is down, the trim are set for takeoff, the lights are on, the transponder is set to VFR 1200 and the seatbelt is on. Green, let's rotate. Let's maintain a heading and climb to 1000 feet AGL. Steady climb. Retract the flaps. Let's reduce the RPM. To maintain a cruise speed once we reach 1000 feet AGL. We're starting to see our first ground reference. Let's start to turn into crosswind. At about 20 degrees bank. we're going to contact the ATC for permission to do a full stop landing.
Greensboro Tower, Cessna November 52 Kilo Alpha to land. Cessna November 52 Kilo Alpha, Greensboro Tower. Entered left traffic, runway 5, altimeter 3027. Entered left traffic, runway 5, Cessna 2 Kilo Alpha.
Okay, the ATC is aware of our intentions. Let's go ahead and turn into the downwind. Maintain the same altitude of about 1000 feet AGL. You can adjust your cruising using the trim up and down. We are soon going to approach our second ground reference, and from there we will be able to determine the beam spot. Okay, once we pass the beam spot, let's go ahead and increase our flaps by 10 degrees.
Cessna 2 Kilo Alpha, cleared to land, runway 5. Cleared to land, runway 5, Cessna 2 Kilo Alpha.
The ATC just contacted us and approved our landing. Once we are about 45 degrees from the runway, we'll start to bank left into base. Over here we can see a third ground reference, which is the road intersections. Let's adjust our flaps to 20 degrees and start to turn to base. And let's go ahead now, turn into final. Let's line up with runway 5. Adjust the RPM as needed. Once We are lined up with the runway. Let's go ahead and go full flaps. 30 degrees flaps. We can see the runway in the horizon. We're almost there. Here's the runway, nice and soft. To the beam spot, right here. Touchdown.
Cessna 2 Kilo Alpha, exit runway when able.
Here is our landing from the control tower. Remember to always maintain your airspeed and altitude while in the traffic pattern, and also use your ground references while you are flying VFR. Main wheels first. Nice smooth landing. This landing was a little bit too fast, but with practice we'll get better.